Hello, this is Hellspawn at MLG Anaheim, and I'm standing here with Anna. How has Anaheim been so far for you?
It's been amazing. It's been larger than any MLG I've ever been to before. The crowd has so much energy. I'm having a great time.
So, you're the girlfriend of In Control. That's probably why you're into this industry. How did you guys meet?
Jeff and I were co-captains of the speech and debate team at Oregon State University. So we were nerds all the way and started dating back in 2006.
And then you had a breakup for a while, or you weren't together. And how did it come that you got together again? Was it when he was doing WCG, Ultimate Gamer, or can you explain?
Yeah, Jeff and I kind of parted ways in college. Just needed some space to grow up a little bit, like you do in college. And we didn't speak for a while, but then reconnected right as he was finishing up WCG Ultimate Gamer, and I was traveling. I was in India actually at the time, and we've always just been able to really talk and understand each other really well, and that's what we both needed at that point. So we rebuilt our friendship, and the rest is history.
So lately you turned into working a lot with esports. When did you make the switch from being the girlfriend who watched when the boy was playing into getting into the community, doing stuff because you're making your own interviews, coverage, etc., etc.?
Well, I've always loved gaming, just recreationally. When I was young, a lot of my friends were boys and they never let me play their consoles and things. I still suck at Halo because of that. I never got to play Halo. But so when Jeff told me that he played a video game semi-professionally when we started dating, it was like, you can do that? That's a real job? And so I got really excited about it. And the more tournaments I went to, the more I wanted to be as involved as possible. And my skill as a player is not developed enough that I could be a competitive player, at least not yet. I don't have the time to practice. But what I do is I speak in front of a camera, I'm good at asking people questions, I majored in speech communication, so what I can offer the scene is kind of that media side, the communication side. So what I did is I just picked up a camera and started doing interviews, and people liked them, and the more people liked them, the more that teams wanted me to do them. So my career, if you will, in esports has kind of blossomed out of that, and now I'm taking on more media roles, management roles, all sorts of things, anything I can do to kind of apply my skills to esports.
Yeah, and you started to work with EG. Can you explain a little bit what you do for EG, or are you going to maybe go with your own brand, so to speak?
Well, I'm doing a little bit of both. EG is actually releasing information about my role with them today, I believe. So I can't tell too much, but what has been released is that I am heavily involved with the EG Pro House, or the EG Lair in Arizona. So I've been helping put that together, and I'll be taking on an active role in kind of managing that house, helping the players with living there and all of that. And then, of course, it's pretty obvious that my specialty is media, so I'll be helping them with that. And I've been working with their sponsor, Kingston HyperX. I don't see any end to that in the future, so there'll be a little bit of both. I mean, in order to build a successful career as somebody in media and esports right now, you kind of have to do a lot of things in order to build one solid career, but I would say the goal in the future is to find a home where I can work full-time and devote all of my energy to one person. So hopefully that will be EG.
As I understood it, you and Jeff haven't lived together. Has that been challenging, or maybe even better because you have such a busy schedule, both of you? And will you move into the house?
Yeah, I'm moving into the house. I actually have moved in before all the players, so all my stuff is there. And Jeff and I have spent a lot of our relationship long distance, and that started in college. Then we weren't long distance for a while and had to go back to it. And that was really hard at first, but I was busy competing. I was competing for Miss USA as Miss Oregon USA. So I was traveling all over, Jeff was traveling all over, and it wasn't feasible for us to be in the same place at one time, except when we were working at events together. So a lot of times the time we would get to see each other was at an esports event or anything like that. So we had to be really creative. We would make dates to meet on Skype and watch movies, instant stream on Netflix and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can understand how that was. What do you think of other girls being within the scene? Because you have a national input because you have a boyfriend in the business, but also you have been kind of open with, I don't know everything, I'm here to learn, and you taking step by step. Mm-hmm. Other girls maybe just got thrown in and they get a lot of attention. Have you any your point of view with that?
Yeah, I think the key, I mean, obviously it's tough to be a girl in this industry, not because, I mean, the people who matter are really welcoming. They're excited to see girls getting involved because obviously it's a very male-dominated sport and we want everyone to be excited about esports. But then there are those people who will say the hateful things on the internet or discount your skill because you're a girl, say you're only successful because you're a girl. So I think the key, like you said, is really being real with what you can offer and with what your skills are, and never trying to pretend to be something other than you are. Because in the end, if you do, you're just going to have to keep up that facade, and it's going to ruin you. So I think that the key is to say, this is what I can offer, this is who I am, and this is why I'm here. Ignore the haters. Haters going to hate. And I think I've seen more girls here than any other MLG that I've been to, or any other esports event that I think I've ever been to. Not that I've been to all of them, but...
Do you have any ideas what could change? Of course, getting girls into actually competing, but of course they are not as many who play and maybe not putting in the hours, so that would take some time. Do you see it other way that girls might get into the industry and get more like accepted?
So if they're not playing?
Yeah, if they're not playing.
I think that the key to that might be that there have been a few people who are making StarCraft a little bit more understandable and easily accessible to people who may not understand the strategy of it. Because if you jump right in and you're watching a commentator who's really heavily into the strategy and he's talking about build orders and things, as somebody who doesn't understand StarCraft, it's not going to hold your attention. So somebody who might commentate and explain exactly what is a barracks, why would you build it, what is a build order and how does it affect a person's play, going very, very basic like that, I think that it helps, it kind of makes a gateway into the industry, and I think that will help, since there aren't very many girls who are interested in StarCraft right now relative to how many boys are, that might help.
Okay, cool. I just slipped my mind for the first time on this event. Anyway, when in control, he's very vocal. He's always speaking his mind. And I guess that you also have your drama on the internet, the haters or the lovers or whatever. How are you talking with each other to try to support it? It's always can Jeff come and I'm so devastated, this blew up in my face. How do you handle it as a couple?
Well, it was funny because obviously Jeff was more in the public eye before I was. So I would often tell him, listen, honey, the more hate you have, that means the more love you have as well. It may be the quiet majority and the vocal minority that's giving you all this trouble, but you've got people out there supporting you, and the more attention you're getting, negative or positive, that means people care what you have to say. And he would say, yeah, I know you're right. And as I became more in the public eye and did things like the North American Star League, where I was on the live stream, and the live stream is just, you get all sorts of comments from the live stream. So I started getting more hate than I've ever gotten before, and I had to kind of get a taste of my own medicine, where he said, you know what you always tell me. So I think we don't necessarily run to each other with make me feel better, but I think both of us kind of say, hey, snap out of it, stop being negative, because there's more positive here than negative, and you're not doing it for those mean people, you're doing it for the people that are here to build esports.
Fredrik, you have any questions?
You covered it all.
Okay, any final words, shout outs, anything you want to say?
I just want to thank everyone who's made it possible for me to be here, especially just the people who watch my interviews and the media that I send out and leave nice comments, because what that does is it allows me to continue doing what I'm doing and to be hired by other organizations. Especially would like to thank Kingston HyperX, because they were one of the first to kind of adopt me and have brought me to all these MLGs, Evil Geniuses for taking me under their wing, and all of their sponsors who make it possible for them to do that. Intel Steel Series, Kingston HyperX, Monster, Energy. I haven't memorized them all yet, but thank you to all of them.
Thank you so much.